That's
Awesome. Friends are here.
Oh, all right.
Ah,
I'm gonna mute everyone for now. Hold on. Orly, you can unmute.
have you muted?
Okay. More.
Mhm.
All right. And you can just keep helping if I'm not seeing people coming in.
Of course. Of course.
Oh, happy International Women's Day. We see so many
Yeah.
beautiful women on the page. I was like, it's our day.
It's our day. Woohoo.
So thank you for all being here. I love that. Okay. So I'd love to know in the chat, if you're a speaker, have you gotten paid gigs? Or are you just been more the free gigs kind of thing? I'd love to kind of know like where you guys are in your speaking journey. Because that kind of helps us understand what we're doing today.
Yeah. Dorothy is here. Okay. Wow. Look at that.
Getting
All
paid,
right.
generally free. Okay. Doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum of where you're at, because this is gonna be helpful either way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I got it.
Okay.
Yay. I got it.
Perfect. And my thing is, I mean, even if you are going out and getting free gigs, you still need to know how to close and get money. Like one of the things I teach and I can give away in the chat is how to make 10K anytime you take a stage. It really is thinking about when you go in, and even if you can't sell, like I can go in and make 10K even if I can't sell from stage, because I know I've figured out the secret ways of being able to pitch without pitching. I also know how to enroll the organizer to be like, okay, what are you selling? What do you want the audience to do? I'll incentivize them to come to my workshop. And they're like, oh, you would do that? Yes. Anybody that's in here that steps up into membership with, Jane today, I will grant you a free ticket to my event. Now, my event, I'm going to sell you. I don't say that, but it's a part of it, right? So there are a lot of ways that you can take free speaking gigs and even ones that you can't even pitch from and make some money. So it's really about learning how to do that and doing it well and learning how to seed throughout your entire talk. I'm always talking in my group program, one-on-one, when I work with individuals in corporations, like I say these things. When people hire me to speak, I say that from stage because there are so many times where people will be like, do you speak can I hire you to come speak to our organization? Do you speak? I'm like, I just did. Like, what did you miss out? Right. And so you literally have to say those things because people just aren't, I guess, aware enough to go, oh yeah, she just did that. And Orly, I know that's kind of like how when you got started in this as well, right?
Well, I got paid right away. I figured out how to get paid first to get on stages, and then I didn't know I could sell because I didn't know what selling was. It was kind of what, I fell into it, and I was always paid to speak until I learned what to do from stage without selling from stage. And so we kind of talk the same language on I call it peppering your speech by saying, oh, my client does this and I did this with my client, and oh, they really love me because this is what happened. And it's a story, right? So we say facts tell and stories sell. So the more you tell stories about you and your clients, of course you're going to close from stage without closing.
Right.
People just come up to you. It's awesome. Yes.
I love that.
Yeah. Thank
Right.
you all for being here. My goodness, everybody's here today. That's awesome. I'm so excited.
All right. I'm going to go to share screen.
Okay. It would be nice to see everybody because I only see.
Not everyone has their cameras on.
I know nobody has their cameras on. Are you guys afraid of us or something?
Slideshow. Yeah, you guys are speakers. You should be having your camera on.
Right?
Like if I came on here and I was like, okay, hey, we're gonna start this presentation and I'm not gonna have my screen on.
Right. I'm gonna just turn it off and tell you that I'm really here. I'm in my pajamas too. No big deal. You guys can
I do
not
have
while
pajamas on.
driving. You're right, Paula. But we have to give kudos to Paula. She's driving and actually listening in. So that's a big deal. Yes. Please keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road. We go, we're good, we're good.
Yeah, we're good. Well, we're grateful to have you guys here today. Orly and I'm really excited. It's fun. We just actually met in person for the first time in January. I had a friend of mine that said, you have to check this gal out. She's amazing. She's awesome. And I think you guys, have a lot in common. And I was like, okay. So I went and cyber stalked her and became friends with her on Facebook. And
Not
then
knowing that I've been stalking her for 9 years before that.
yeah, see, I'm just secretly like, okay. And then we got on a cruise and we got to meet, and it was my favorite part was you dropped the toothbrush in the toilet.
And I'm like, can somebody go get me a toothbrush and a toothpaste? This is disgusting. I threw it out.
So I went into town and I was like, yeah, I'll go get, I think what were we in Aruba? And so I got off the ship and we went, the first thing I did was went to the pharmacy and got her a toothbrush and toothpaste. And I remember having to walk all the way. She was so far away, like on the other side of the ship from where my room was. I was like, am I ever going to get there? It was the longest walk ever. And
Yeah.
so I got to her room and I was like, I need a rest because that was that was a workout. And so we just had a really great time. And it kind of just by sharing what we've been doing and really just sharing parts of ourselves, we just came together and we're like, we need to play together. This would be so much fun, and especially as women, we love to collaborate. And, my thing is that women, we do better together. And so thinking of that on International Women's Day, it really is
Amen.
it's so much more fun too to do it together. So we're excited to have you here. We both have different experiences and different ways of looking at speaking, and so I love that together we can make such a great team for you guys to learn from, and both of our experiences overall, the last 20 years between the two of us, right? 20 plus, I'll just say that. How's that?
Yeah. Say it very, very quietly. Yes, that's fine. Yeah,
It's a Women's Day. You can't tell your age right now, right?
I know.
So we're glad to have you guys all here. I'm going to click this out of the participants because
Oh, I don't see them anymore. Okay.
you can put it up on your screen.
I am. It is on the
Okay.
screen.
Okay. Our goal today is to really help you understand some of the things that maybe are getting in your way of getting more of these paid gigs. Maybe some of the things that we'll be exposing you to is to see if you're not either closing 30% of the room when you're speaking or getting gigs when you're speaking, something that might be off in your presentation. And we'll go through that today as well, because I do think that a lot of times just getting on stage and speaking is how I get gigs. I get tons of gigs. And if you're not doing like 4 or 5 from each time you speak, it's really, it's something that could be something that's getting in your way. And I always love, like, I always seek feedback. I've gone out there and hired some of the top speaking coaches in the world, and got on their stages and got real feedback, because I think that's the piece that most of us are missing, working in the lone silo. So it's really important to be able to know what are these things that are happening, what are the trends that are happening, what might be getting in your way that you might not expect that's getting in your way, and then how to overcome those things. So that's what we're going to do today. And if you stay to the end, I'm going to be giving you this is your TEDx Bible, and it has a ton of resources, and I have a website that has a ton of resources. So at the end, I will give you the link. You'll be able to have the ebook of my TEDx Bible, everything from idea to standing ovation, and you'll get all the resources that will help you with your TED Talk. So
And
that's
by the
really
way, guys, Erin is my coach. So just so you know, we do help each other. So Erin is my TEDx coach, and she's awesome. She's the bomb.com. I've spent a lot of money with other people. Erin is the real deal. Just letting you know. Sorry. I know she didn't pay me for that. Erin, the check is in the mail. All good. Okay.
I'll pay you later. All right. So what makes this different? You're going to get both of our experience. That's what's beautiful. Orly is focused on getting gigs in a different way than I have. I have done speak to sell. I have done corporate stuff where I'm going in and doing workshops and things inside of corporate. And Orly's done some corporate. She's done some associations. She's done, a lot of, like she said, she learned to get paid first. And I actually went the opposite way. I had to figure out how to speak for free and make money. And so you're going to get a real mix of education and experience from the both of us. And we love to be able to provide personalized attention. So if you do stay to the end, we have time for questions and answers and really digging in and finding out what you specifically need. And like we said, on International Women's Day, we are allies. We are your cheerleaders. We are the ones that are going to be boosting you up to make you actually shine on stage, but feel really confident about your speaking business. So let me tell you a little bit about me. For those who don't know, I'm Erin Loman-Jack, and I am a speaking coach, a business coach for speakers, an executive speaking coach, TEDx speaking coach. I have a plethora of audiences that I work with, and I really have, honed in what it takes, whether you are just speaking and selling, or if you're pitching your business to VCs and things like that. So I come in and I really help companies learn how, if they're going for funding, how to put their pitch together, what to say and how to say it, because a lot of them get stuck in the minutia. And if you ever watch Shark Tank, most of it's your story. Well, why you? How did you get here? What's the story behind? Why did you create this? And a lot of people are like, well, look at my numbers and look at the market share and look at this. And those things aren't what actually sells. And so one time I actually did a 5-minute talk for a tech space. And the president of GeekWire came up and he's like, we need to talk. And so we went and had lunch and I closed a $100,000 deal from that 5-minute talk. He was so impressed. And I didn't pitch. I didn't have even time to talk about myself because I had 5 minutes. Really, there's not a lot to say in 5 minutes, but I really wanted to impart value. And so that's the kind of results you can get when you really do focus on that. And Orly, I'll let you speak to yourself, love.
Yeah, well, so hi everybody. For those who don't know me, Orlia Moore, and I have spoken for the past 27 years full time, and I've always gotten paid. So I'll tell you a story later on, but I have been already on over 5,000 stages. That's those I can count because there's some that I didn't count in 28 countries, different companies. I work for also big companies like Nokia, PwC, Microsoft, to name a few. I mean, we can go through the plethora. Between Erin and I, we've probably covered the planet altogether. And I helped over 200,000 entrepreneurs all over the world to quadruple and triple their sales. And that's also from public speaking or presentation that they would have to get clients. And that was their whole thing. They didn't know how to present good enough to be able to just close right there or convince or persuade in a nice way instead of being pushy, salesy, or, I call it salesy anyway. So you know what I mean by that. And I've helped so far about over 400 speakers in my 13 plus years of coaching speakers to get paid first. And so I believe that whatever your age right now, you have paid for your experience, or you've paid for it till now. You've paid with money, education, time, blood, sweat, tears, aggravation. All of it is your intellectual property. And I believe you should be paid for it. And what the industry is lacking right now is variety, diversity, and women speakers. Hey, for you, Women's Day. And that's all I got to say about that. Okay, Forrest Gump. All right, good.
I love it. No, and it's true. I've seen it a lot. I love when, I see these like posters and there's all these dudes on it. And I'm like, okay, people, did you not realize that your whole lineup is white dudes? I'm like, where's the awareness here? So
Yeah.
we know that we've done a lot of things right, but we've also done a lot of things wrong. We walk through the landmines and we know what to avoid and how to avoid it. And so you kind of get to cheat, right? And learn the easy way. So what we've discovered is there's real strategies for making money in speaking. And you have to know how to do that, because if not, you'll just be doing Chamber of Commerce, Rotaries, and never making a penny. And I've watched a lot of people do that and thinking that, they want to share their message. But the problem is if you don't know how to make money, you can't sustain the message. And you really got to be able to sustain the message. So we want to make sure that you know how to do that. We've discovered how to present that converts audiences every time. We will talk about that in one of our points today, and what event organizers are looking for. You really have to know that you have all of your assets together, because in order to get paid, you got to look like you made money, even if you haven't yet in speaking. It's really important. And so we're going to go through some of those things. And so, like we said, we've discovered this the hard way, and now you get to cheat and get the easy way from us. So you don't have to spend 20 years trying to figure it out. And so the
Yeah.
hard way is people focusing on getting gigs over and over and over. I hear, I need more gigs, I need more gigs. And what I find is if you actually know how to close the gigs you do have and more of the room that you do have, that you don't have to go out there and get more gigs. I think the hamster wheel of that has been rampant through this industry for years, and no one ever stops to think like, okay, what is it that I keep having to get gigs? You know, all I do in my business is I speak, I sell, I serve. And then anytime I need the cash injection, I turn it back on. I'm leaving on Wednesday to go to Orlando. I have an online presentation in the morning, and then I have an in-person talk that afternoon. And both of them I get to sell from the stage. And so it's easy enough that I could do that and not have to work the rest of the month if I didn't want to. Right. And that's what I love about when you focus on actually getting more money in the rooms that you're in, it will help. Or you're not getting paid gigs. You know, Orly, I mean, this is totally up your alley. So talk to them more about why they're not getting paid gigs.
Well, you know what? The first thing is that they don't ask for the money. That's the funniest thing, is that most people, and women especially, don't value themselves. So I wanna share something with you guys that is so important to understand and to embrace. I share that with my clients, who are also, some of them are here. In this business, we don't earn respect; we demand it. Because if you don't demand the respect you deserve, you're not going to be paid. People don't value people who don't walk their talk. People don't value people who don't stand up for themselves and are confident in what they're charging. So, you can tell with Erin, she'll walk into a room and everybody knows, oh, wow, she's expensive. Like, this is probably what they'll say
It's
because of
expensive
her.
to be
Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
me.
It's okay. It's expensive to be me to begin with. But at the end of the day, what we realized is that people don't ask. They don't know how much to ask, but they don't ask, period. So, when somebody says, oh, well, we don't pay speakers, they cut the conversation short and say, oh, okay, I'll still do it. But then they forget that they're in the red as soon as they did that. They're in the red because everything that they're doing to prepare is costing them. They don't calculate that. You mentioned Shark Tank earlier. If you don't know your numbers in this business, you're in the red. And I'm trying to avoid that.
Yeah.
So one of the things also is, by not getting paid, is not to know what to say to an event planner. So the language is very important.
Yeah. And I think there are conversations you can be having where you're like, well, let's collaborate on this. What would it take for you to get a sponsor in order for me to speak? What if I procure my own sponsor and get paid to speak? There's a
Yeah.
lot of things that I don't think people are thinking creatively, like, let me problem solve with the organizer. They're just taking no as the answer. And so
Right.
it's got to be something that you pay attention to. But it also has to be about your positioning. Like you said, walking in the room, your branding, your media assets, the things that you are submitting to them have to look expensive. You got to look like you know what you're talking about. You need to have testimonials. You need to have videos. In here, I'd love to know how many of you actually have a speaking reel. Put why in the chat and say, and if you don't, right? Because I think the other thing is we haven't focused on making sure our assets sell us and make it look like, yeah, she's going to be expensive. I'm kind of nervous about getting on the phone with her. Like, your stuff has to look that good. And so that's some of the things that I think are really impactful for people. So speakers are focusing on the wrong thing sometimes. And then what I deeply do is, because my background is in therapy, I went to school to be a therapist, a marriage and family therapist. And what I discovered of why I was so good at closing on stage was psychology of connection. And we're going to go through that and really break it down for you so you can maybe even see in your presentation where you're not doing a great job or you could be better. I mean, I'm rewatching my videos. I'm like an athlete. I watch my videos and critique myself. And I'm like, ooh, I could have done that better. I don't like what I did that. How could I do that different? I'm always getting feedback. I'm paying attention to what's happening. And so to know that if you can get better at your craft, you can make more money. And so we're going to really go through that today as well. So we're going to give you the easy way that generates 150,000 a year in speaking. But let me tell you, you got to be able to take action. And so this is one of my clients, Siddiqui. She was doing a 2-day workshop online. I was attending it. So I watched her do her pitch. that night she called me crying, was like, I only had, 2 people enroll. And she was out of the 40 that were there. She's like, what did I do wrong? What can I redo? What can I do? And so we crafted a really great, a second pitch that felt more authentic to her, that was, heartfelt. And by the time she did that, she literally converted 80% of the room. So there could be just some slight things that you might not be doing, but you got to take the action. You got to go and do it. And so I think a lot of times why people aren't getting the results they want is because they're not willing to take that action. So we're all about doing that today. So the 3 secrets we're going to do is you deserve to be paid as a speaker, and then how to master your conversions from stage, and have the positioning for the organizers to really want to pay you. So Orly, this is you, baby. So I'd love to hear what you have to say about making 150,000 a year.
So you got to know the industry, right? I have a book behind me called Public Speakers, You're Not All That, 12 Reasons Why Event Planners Won't Hire You. And I had interviewed over 3,400 event planners that actually pay speakers for this book. It took me 4.5 years out of my own time and my own dime, because I was tired of hearing the sorry to say it this way, but the BS that was being fed to speakers, including myself. Oh, you got to have a book. I don't know how many of you, if you heard this, any of these before, you have to have a book, you have to have a podcast, you have to have a signature talk, you're going to have a sizzle reel, you're going to have all these things. Yes, they're good assets to have, but you don't need them in order to get booked as a speaker, to get paid as a speaker. And so what I discovered is completely different, is that the industry itself is a $113.2 billion industry worldwide. We are short 1 million speakers in the world, and we are short 1 million coaches in the world. And what does that tell you? Is that the minimum wage in public speaking is 150K. Can you get over to the other slide, or is it's a part of this?
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to. There we go.
Yeah.
It wasn't clicking.
So what happened to me and how I discovered all that is that I had a bunch of in the beginning of 2010, I told my business coach, and by the way, guys, don't hire a coach that doesn't have a coach. Both Aaron and I have coaches for different things, but we have coaches and we
Yeah.
believe in coaching. It's so important. We basically save you 10 years of learning, or 20, as Aaron mentioned earlier. Now, when I told my business coach in the beginning of 2010, I said, you know what? I want to impact the lives of 200 million people by 2025. I'll spare you how we got to that. But afterwards, I had a pool party at my house with some of my friends who are speakers. And I was in the water in the pool. And there's a reason I'm telling you all this, because it's funny. And I was hearing my friends who are speakers talk about not making money in this business. So I started saying, hey, guys, what are you talking about? Minimum wage in public speaking is 150K a year. And they said, are you crazy, Orly? Some of us make 50, some of us 60, some of us 80, 100, that's pushing it. 150, you're out of your freaking mind. I said, okay, you guys, you do you, I'll do me. And in my head, I said, well, thank God I didn't tell them I triple that. Because at that point, I just didn't want them to like drown me in my own pool and take over the house and the dogs. That's a cartoon that was playing in my head, actually. So I decided to leave it alone. Few weeks later, I was traveling in Europe, and I ended up in Arlington, Texas. And what happened in the break room for speakers was really my catapult into coaching right now. I was approached by 3 speakers in the break room for speakers, where one of them said, aren't you Orly Amore? I said, yeah, do I know you? Sorry, I don't remember. So one of them said, no, we've never met before, but I've seen you on the circuit. So I said, okay. And we started talking. After about 2 minutes, one of them says to me, listen, I'm just curious. How did you get this gig? I said, I don't know. I called, I told them what I speak about. They paid me and I'm here. All 3 of them looked at me like if I had 3 heads. You got paid? And I'm like, oh God, what did I just say? And I said, you guys didn't? They said, no, we got our expenses paid, but we didn't get paid. I said, oh no, I got paid and I got my expenses paid. And it also dawned on me. I'm like, oh my God, how come speakers are not getting paid? It was unfair. And anything that's unfair like boils my blood, right? So I decided to educate myself and to start coaching speakers on this. And that's why I also guarantee they'll make 150K their first year in public speaking. Because if I can guarantee a job at McDonald's at minimum wage. Can I do that? Absolutely, because it's the law. So 150K is minimum wage in public speaking. If you're not making 150K a year, that's a hobby, not a career.
Yeah. I call that hobbypreneuring
Hobbypreneuring, I love it.
because you're doing it for the fun, but not for the money.
Right?
And then the second secret that we really learned is learning how to master your conversions without selling your soul. We don't expect you to go up there. I used to do it, man. I used to do the sham wow. And if you buy it now, oh my God, and you'll get two for free. It literally was. And I was like, and it wasn't closing. I remember going to a talk and while I was up there, it was the person in the audience goes, "Oh, do you have something? Like what's going on?" I was like, "How did they not know? I just pitched it." And they were like, "Oh, I didn't really hear that." And I was like, "Ooh, what? Okay." And then somebody else walked up and was like, I heard them over here and it was something like, "Wow, that was a really hard sell," or something like that. And I was like, "What?" All of a sudden I'm hearing feedback and I feel like, the universe put on my ears so I could actually hear. But I was like, "Oh, wow. I thought I did a good job. They think that I was too pitchy and too hard, and we've all seen it. I don't know how many times you go to events and you're just like, "Can people stop this? It's so annoying." And they use NLP to close you. And I get it. I've studied NLP. I'm an NLP trainer. I do not use it in that way on stage. I do not manipulate and cajole. So it's really about converting and being really aligned with your audience. And so I did a deep dive on like, okay, who is my audience? What is the biggest top of mind problem? And really being able to share that with people. Going in, one time I was speaking and I was like, "I got this." My son was a baby and I needed diapers for him. And so I was like, "It's okay. I'm gonna go speak tonight and I'm selling my course. Everyone's gonna buy my course, right?" It's a low-hanging offer. It can't, that has to be the easy thing. And I remember everyone going, "That was really awesome. That was really great. Can you come and speak at my place? Can you do this? Can you do that?" But nobody bought my course. And I remember like getting all of my collaterals, my little things, and picking everything and walking to the car, put it in the back of the car. And I literally just sat in the car and cried. And I was like, "Who do you think you are? Why you think you deserve this?" There were so many things going on for me where I was just like, this, there's got to be a better way. And so it really became about diving deep into knowing what was happening on stage and what I wasn't doing right. And in that moment, I was like, I never want a speaker to not get paid for their heart, their soul, and what their divine message is here to deliver to the world. And that was when everything changed for me. I hired another coach. I started digging deep into what I was doing on stage. I was started watching my videos back, all of those things. I started getting on stages where I got feedback from Brendan Burchard, Bo Eason, and Roger Love. I put myself in the fire going, okay, what am I not doing? And it was some of these things. These are the four parts of compelling communication. The audience is taking in 50% is nonverbal. It's my eyebrows, it's my facial expressions, it's my hand gestures, even here on Zoom. It's making sure you align with the stories you're telling. If you're telling a story about, this is one I see all the time. It was my daddy's funeral. And I'm like, why are they smiling? Because that's their stage presence. They smile, but they're not aligning with what they're actually saying. And so if something's off, right? A confused mind says no. They're not going to buy from you. They're not even going to probably listen to you. They might even take out their phone and start scrolling. Or if they read off this huge, amazing bio of mine, and then I walk up there and I'm like, "Hi, yeah, that's me," and I'm just like nervous and shy and quiet. They're not gonna like, "Wow, that powerhouse is this?" And that's going to get them to pull out their phones and start scrolling again, right? And so you really have to master your nonverbal communication. The second is your vocal tonality, vocal variance. That's pitch, pace, tone, volume. There are ways to say things that invoke emotions in your audience. If I'm talking about, like I said, it's my daddy's funeral, and I go up high, that's usually something that's talking about being exciting. That's also could be questionable because a lot of women end with a high note and it's a question, not a statement. And so that's really important. If you're not actually going, "It was my daddy's funeral. I was 10 years old. It was my first speaking gig." Like, be in it. And so I know that when you use your pitch, pace, tone, and volume, my other favorite part of vocal variance is volume. So some speakers get on stage and it's like they're speaking in a bubble. They're speaking to themselves, right? But other speakers, you can tell they're projecting their voice. They're louder. You can really sense them. And what I love is right now, as you're listening to my voice come through your speakers, and as crackly as it is this morning, um, you actually are hearing the sound waves. You're feeling those sound waves come through the speakers. Well, what's great, and when you do this well, is when you start feeling that vibration, your body goes, ooh, what is that? I'm feeling something. And then your brain goes, oh, I must be resonating with Aaron, because they literally, their body is resonating with your tone of voice. And so immediately they assume, they're like, oh yeah, I really resonate with Aaron. I resonate with her message. She's spot on, all these things. And they have no idea they made that decision based on the sound waves that they were feeling in their body. Like, it's pretty dang cool, right? And that's 30%. So right there, you have 80% of your talk has to be nailed in these two areas, because the other ones aren't as heavy, you know, heavily weighted. Storytelling. I see so many speakers get on stage. Me, I. Let me tell you my story. I got up, I brushed my teeth, I walked to the bathroom, I went downstairs, I fed myself breakfast. I. That doesn't conclude anybody, doesn't make anyone feel included in that. It's like, God, can she stop talking about herself already? But when you tell a story, that gets people in the audience in their own story. Now, I say the three most important things to say in your storytelling is: what were you thinking? What were you feeling? And what were you sensing in your physical body? Now, the reason that is because it's a human condition. We all have thoughts, we all have feelings, and we know when I say, man, I was so angry, my fist balled up, my chest was tight, and that vein on my forehead was popping. Even if whatever I'm talking about, I ran a red light or somebody ran a red light and I was that angry. You might not have had the red light incident, but you're like, ooh, I've been there. I've been there where my blood is boiling like that. And so they immediately connect with you because they have the same story. And so it's really important to tell stories that connect to everyone in the room and to know what your audience wants, to speak to the things that they're struggling with and to give them the solutions. And really, guys, the words, so many of you have struggled to write your talk. Nobody really cares about your talk. They don't care what the words are. I've probably messed up 5 words in this whole time for conversation. It does not matter. It doesn't matter how many ums I've said. I don't even have any, but if I have said it, and it's because it doesn't really matter. It's how you say it and how you make them feel. But when I talk about words, the way I do use NLP is I speak to the kinesthetics, I speak to the visual, I speak to the auditory digital, I speak to the auditory people. Everyone in the room feels like they've been spoken to because I use word like envision, imagine. Can you feel it? Can you sense it? Do you hear what I'm saying? Does it resonate? I use those words interchangeably because then everyone feels I'm speaking their language. And that's important because most people only speak for their own. You know, I'm highly visual, so I have visuals and I speak to visual words, but then I'm leaving everyone else out. So those are the important ones when you're thinking about the words. It's not how do I write my talk? It's these other things that if you master them, then you can convert from stage anytime. And Orly, let's talk about this because this is something you heard a lot of feedback on when you were interviewing all these event producers as well.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about how to position yourself so that organizers are begging you to speak at their event. And if we can get to the next one so I can share the secrets. Oh, that's not it. Is that it? Yes. Okay. So what organizers are looking for, I want you to get away from that. Organizers are not looking for anything. They don't even know what they need. But you got to show up intriguing, sexy, marketable. You got to stop sounding like everybody else that speaks about the same topic as you, right? How many of you heard that there are speakers that speak about NLP, blah, 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 leadership, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm a motivational speaker. Oh my God. So if you think about the event planner hearing this about 200,000 times a day, put yourself in their shoes. Now, there was a survey made on the most stressful jobs in America, Canada, and the United States, 100 most stressful jobs. Number one was military jet fighter plane pilot. Number two is air traffic controller. Number five is event planner coordinator. If you think they have time to read your website, to read your book, to go through all your stuff, think again. What you have to know is how to communicate with them, number one, what to say first, second, third, how to negotiate up, not down. We don't negotiate to zero like some people do, and I know they do, because they just want to get exposure. And Erin laughs because I have no filter between my head and my mouth. And so what I tell people who want exposure is to go outside. The sun will give them plenty of exposure, right? And so,
Or
yeah,
get naked. There's some
it's
exposure.
so easy to make Erin laugh. I love this. Okay, so I missed my vocation, right, Erin? I should have been a comedian. Um, so when you think about what event planners are looking for, stop looking about what they're looking for and walk in your own lane. You are unique. Maybe you have a unique methodology. Maybe you have your own method, but more importantly, that you have a talk title that is not sounding like everybody else. Do you remember when leadership was a big deal? Like I'll go to a couple of them. Leadership was a big deal. So now there is emotional leadership. And then there is how to lead with passion. And then there is, I mean, like literally, people are just adding words out there. And event planners are just sick of it. You got to know what they're thinking. So instead of looking at what they're looking for, when you do that, when you actually think that way, it's old school mentality, number one. And number two, it's like fitting a square hole into a round hole. It won't fit. It doesn't fit. But let me tell you this, you fit every single event out there. There are 64,000 events a day in America alone that pay public speakers. You fit into all of them because what they're looking for is variety. Not everybody sounds the same way. If you do sound like everybody else in your own genre, I don't like to say the word niche. That's old school. We don't talk like that. I'm just letting you know. And so now it's like maybe a genre that you like to fit into, but stop talking in the same language as all your other colleagues who speak about the same thing. And so that's one of the things. A one sheet. Stop saying that. It's not a one sheet. It's either a speaker sheet or it's a media sheet. Enough with the press kits that we don't even need those anymore. I mean, come on, guys. They don't have time to read your book or to read your website. You think they have time for a press kit? Like, seriously, think about it. Just think about it. It has to be short, sweet, to the point, what they need to see, your 3 talk titles, your bio in a succinct way. Listen, if your bio is longer than 300 words, you're missing the boat. They don't have time to read it, right? So you need to think about what you're doing instead of what everybody else is doing. And the second thing is to stop comparing yourself to others. Stop comparing yourself. There is no need for you to compare yourself. There's enough to go around. There's plenty of money, plenty of events. You just need to stay in your lane. So I don't know if I've answered everything because I
Yeah.
can't. Yeah, I've answered everything. I can't see. I'm getting
Yeah.
my glasses today, my new glasses with prescription. Yay. Okay, anyway.
Well, and the other thing you really need to have is a high quality speaker reel. And I love that you help people get those. Like that's been one of your bread and butters for a really long time because, like we said earlier, there's a lot of you in here that don't even have one.
Yeah,
And so it's like, come on, you really need to have that because that's the other thing. They want to know what you sound like. They want to know, they want to get an idea of how you will interact with their audience, how you would land with their audience. They can't do that by a one sheet, like we said in here, like a one sheet, a speaker sheet, because
Stacy.
they only see it in one lane and they can, okay, this is I'm reading it, but they want to see you. They want to see testimonials on your
Yeah,
because that's what they want. They're more concerned about how the audience is going to like you or not. They're more
right.
concerned about the audience.
Yes.
So if you don't have a speaker reel that has testimonials of people like, oh my God, Erin was so amazing. I love that she talked about the 4 parts of compelling communication. She was amazing. She was awesome. There's so many writer downers. There's, all those things. People are like, oh, okay, that's what my audience is going to say. Right.
Right.
And that's what's
And
most important to them.
Also, remember your speaker reel, like they say it, but it's a demo reel or a sizzle reel. And then there's a story reel, which makes you an influencer. So what you want to make sure is that not only that it's a sizzle reel, it's make sure that it portrays you in the story, because now it's so important for the event planner to know why you do what you do. So the interview part that we do in the demo reels we do, it's more important to know your story. Why do you do what you do? Who are the people? How do you change their lives? Right? I mean, we talk about the 5 questions in my programs. Who are you? What do you know? What problem are you solving? How are you solving it? Why should I care? Not why should Orly and Aaron care? Why should the audience care? Why should the event planner care? And those are so important, because in your sizzle or demo reel, these things have to be answered. And like Aaron said, and not to be repeated, but it's your personality. How do you show up? Now, yes, granted, you don't even have you don't need a demo reel. You can do this on Zoom by yourself and it'll still be accepted. But I bet you anything that you don't know how to look at the iris enough to be able to just deliver a 3-minute talk without sounding scripted. You cannot sound scripted. You gotta be so yourself, authentic. How many people do you say? Put a yes in the chat if you've heard somebody says, I love to be authentic, but they're not. How many of you
Those
put
are
a
the
yes
people
in the
that
chat?
aren't authentic, the
I
ones
was
that
like,
are
oh
pointing
my
it out.
God, it's crazy. So remember also what Aaron said. Um, Facts tell, stories sell. That's why a demo reel needs to be a part of your story.
Yes, I love that.
Drop the mic. Okay.
I know. Amen. Okay, so in this last hour, we really talked about going through all the things that you're going to need, but we can't, we can't include everything. Like, we're getting down to it. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of things that need to be put into place for you to be seen as somebody and positioned for someone for to profit. It takes some of the work, right? And so we did go through a lot, but there's so much more. I mean, I do a whole day on the nonverbal, the vocal tonality, all that. So the storytelling, all of that, because there's so much to tell you and there's so much to go over. But the coolest thing is you can leave with everything you've ever needed, and all while living like the speaker freedom way. Like, I love that I get to travel and do this, and I get to take my kids when I want to. I get to travel to places I want to go to. I it's a write-off for me to travel. I love that, right? And so we are putting on a cruise. Since we met on a cruise and fell in love on a cruise, we thought we should do a cruise too. So this is going to be such an amazing opportunity for you that take this, because it is an opportunity to come and get these things done while being on a ship. And we love to be able to do it. You'll have the days where you're going to go off and go onto the land, go to Haiti, Jamaica, Grand Cayman. You're going to have the vacation as well. But while we're on the ship and when we're on at sea, what else do you want to do, right? Then learn and get some stuff done. Take some lifestyle photos, get some really great things so that people are like, wow, she really is living the speaker freedom dream, right? And I think that more people will also see you as, wow, did you go speak on that cruise? It's an amazing opportunity. So we're really excited to be able to offer this. Orly's like, I almost want to call you a cruise whore. This girl
Oh
gets
my
out.
Okay, that was the first I've ever. This is the first, guys. Put an X on the calendar. Like, seriously, this is the first time I've ever been called that. Although I love cruising, this is not our first cruise. Just a little parentheses. This is going to be my 9th cruise doing this. The social wow factor was supposed to be women of the world, but men wanted to come on board, so we just let them, and we just created the wow factor on the ship. And if you come, you will see. There's a lot of wows.
So what we wanted you to see is this is what you're going to get. You're going to get to be able to say you're an international speaker. I know so many of you want that coveted title, right? And after you get it, then you're like, oh yeah, that was great. But it is a great way to also stand out amongst your peers, right? You're going to be able to learn how to master your conversions, like we talked about, being able to know that anytime you take a stage, you can make money. And whether you're getting paid up front or paid in the back end, you're getting paid. All right. And so that's the important part. So then you don't have to say no to a gig that you can actually turn around and sell and make more money. I make more money if I sell from stage. I really do. And so I mean, I'm cool with saying, yeah, I'll come for free as long as I can sell my stuff, because that's on me. And I've mastered the skills to be able to do that. So I know what I can convert in a room. I know, okay, how many people are there? Great. And I go, okay, 30%, at least 30%. Okay, well, that's the least I could make. So now my income is consistent, and I know what, if I say no, it's because there's not enough people to convert, or that's not my right audience, right? You're going to get your reels. You're going to get those scissor reels. You're going to get to speak 6 to 12 times to speak and get feedback. We're going to be there giving you feedback on your speaking. Like I said, I've sought out some of the best feedback because it's really how you get better. And there are things that you might not notice that you're doing that's not getting you the results you want and the money you want. You're going to have a photo op. We got a professional photo shoot. Tell them about that, Orly.
Well, we have a whole crew actually on board to help you with your sizzle reel, demo reel, whatever you choose to take, at a fraction of what it will cost you anywhere else. And so that's very important to know, because you're going to really take away everything you need, including everything Erin and I give you, to actually succeed. And we also have Tony Kaufman, who's going to be a part of this. And so she knows about PR and marketing yourself as well. And she's a publicist, and she was the producer of two really amazing things like Family Feud and American Idol. I mean, there's like really cool people around you, and Bert Oliva will be there. Bert Oliva is a world-renowned speaker, and he's shared the stage with some of the biggest people and names in the country, and so in the world actually. And we've traveled the world together, and they only do my events. So Erin and I are so excited about this. You're going to get to meet all these amazing people and get feedback. Now, I tell people to crave feedback, because even the best actors in the world have coaches. Even the best singers in the world have coaches. They still coach every single day with their coaches. So don't ever think that you're done. It's a process.
Yeah. And I'm gonna go through, landing your TED Talk, go through all of the stuff that you need for that. I'm gonna go through your irresistible offer. We want to make sure you guys really know what you're selling, how to sell it, and how to position it so that people will want to buy it. And I always say it's so sexy that you want to buy it. When you make your offer something that's exciting like this, like let's just even use this. How exciting is a cruise? Like, that's awesome. Like, I'm excited. I want to be there. Well, I am, but I would want to buy this, right?
Yep.
And when you do,
Absolutely.
it's not sales anymore, because it's just like, come join me, let's play, right? And so that's what we're going to help you guys be able to do. Like we said, 70% vacation, 30% work. So who is this work for? It's work for beginning speakers just starting out. If some of you, like you said, you didn't have a video reel, like this is going to be the thing. If you don't have a speaker sheet, you're going to leave with one. You're going to have everything you need that we just told you need in order to get paid. And so this also works for people who are experienced, who want to get more money when they take stage. They want to land a TED Talk. Maybe their next step is, my old sizzle reel, isn't really converting. I'm not getting calls from it. Well, maybe it's because it's not the high quality, or maybe there's something off in it, right? We talked about in the compelling communication, maybe there was something off in it. So we want to make sure you have everything you need, business owners, coaches, all of that. If you want to have more consistency in your revenue, you need to be here, because that's what you're going to be able to get. So we have all of the things that we said that you get before, but I also want to give you a bonus. So I'm leaving this weekend to go to Seattle to go pick out my theater that I want to have my event at. It's to elevate your influence. And the cool part about this is you're going to get VIP tickets, which gets you 2 minutes on stage. And that video reel you'll also get. That's just the 2 minutes. But what the beautiful thing is, if you come to the cruise after that, then we take both of that and you have more videos to show, different audiences, different setups. So it doesn't look like you just did a speaker reel in a library one time, right? It shows that you've had consistent gigs in different locations, different areas. So I feel like this is really going to help you. So you get to have, the time to get up on stage and get our feedback. Orly's going to be there. I'm thinking Tony's going to be there. There's some people that I'm bringing in that give really great feedback for speakers. And if you haven't gotten that feedback, this is the place to do it. So you're going to get a VIP ticket to my event in Seattle. And I think that in itself is worth way more. So if I wanted to put in that, so it's $297, so you get 2 minutes on stage time with the video and the feedback, right? So we're just adding it in. And then the Transfer Your World into Wealth, Master the Art of Persuasion online course. I just created this on the Great Discovery, and that's who I'm going to speak for in Orlando next week when Orly's going to be there with me. And this course has so much value. So you can start taking this course now and really defining some of the things for your stage time when you get to come in May. And then when you get to May, you're going to get feedback. And so that the next time when you're on this cruise and doing your talk and getting video, you're going to even be better. So this is kind of a buildup. We wanted to make sure you had the things that lead you to having the best video scissor reel, right? To having all your stuff together for your speaker sheet, all of those things. So it's a little journey between now and September. There are things along the way that are helping you build these things out. So, and think about this. If all this did was add 150,000 to your bottom line this year, is it worth it? Is it worth it to make your income more consistent and get off that roller coaster of, getting paid, not paid? What month, can I pay? What can I do this month? I am tired of hearing that from coaches and speakers, because there is strategies to making the money and making it consistently. And so you don't have to worry about that. The other beautiful thing is, we met on a cruise and became JV partners, and even more. Now we're just partners, right? This is what you're going to get. You're going to get to be able to be with other people in the room that can support you, to promote you, that you can cross promote each other, that maybe you'll find someone that really fits well, so that when you go and get a speaking gig and they're like, are you still looking for more speakers? You're like, yeah, let me bring my friend. Right? If you have a similar audience, you will actually get more gigs. I get more gigs from referrals. Other speaking coaches actually refer me if they can't make it. And I do the same. Like if Orly couldn't make it somewhere and she's like, man, something came up, but I got a replacement for you. And she's dynamite, right? I literally did this. I'll never forget. I couldn't get out of the snow to make it to Arizona, to make it to the airport on time. And I called up my friend who was in Arizona, and she is a speaking coach. And I said, Jane, can you get there and do this talk for me? Because I can't get out of the blizzard here. And so she did. She went and showed up and spoke. That's the beautiful thing about surrounding yourself with other speakers. You'll get more gigs out of it as well. Plus, you'll get the video, the photo shoot, and improving your speaking skills all along. So you can see why people are paying us individually, starting at like $18,000. Like, it's really of that value. And like you said, it's expensive to be me. I love that. And you can see that it could be a big, a good deal, 10,000, but we actually wanted to give you guys a really great deal. We went and I know Orly went and negotiated with the cruise line. She did all these things, and we really, we're not really making a lot of money from this. I'll just let you know. We just want to be able to help you do what you do best. And so, and we just think it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're like, all right, so let's do that. So all it takes is the $297 today. And then what you'll do is we'll give you the button to do, and I'll do that in a second. But then will you talk to them about what they need to do for the deposit for Royal Caribbean and what they do with the payment?
Right now, to just reserve your cabin for 2 people, it's $500 deposit. You will be calling Royal Caribbean yourself and directly, and just give them our group number, and then book your cruise. And then, if you need a roommate or anything like that, we'll connect you with somebody that would like to also be on the cruise. And I've been, at the last cruise that Karen and Erin and I were on, in the marketers cruise, somebody just put me with somebody else, and it turned out to be amazing and very easy to get along with, and so on. So obviously, I understand some people have apprehension. So bring a friend. And bring a friend that's already in the industry. It's best to do that. So $500 deposit, and then you don't have to pay anything until the end of June. So by the 24th of June, you will need to pay it off. Now, let me tell you how much it is for 2 people in an interior cabin. It's only $1,700, including the fees and the taxes. So it's 17 something. It's and change. Okay. So it's about $895 per person and change. And so not so bad and so if you give $500 right now, then your balance will be about $1,200 for 2 people. Not bad. And for a cabin that is a balcony, I'm a little bit of that kind of a person now, especially with my husband. Yes, balcony first. And that's $3,200. That's including taxes and fees. So you only still have to give only $500 deposit. You can give them more payments if you like as you go. And then when you get to the 24th of June, the rest has to be paid. A lot of people say, oh, you know what? I'm going to wait till see by August or whatever. By then, the cabins are sold out in these cruise ships. I've been cruising for a very long time and I go on cruises very often. I'm just, yes, that's why she wants to call me what she called me earlier. Not nice, but okay, we're going to forgive her. The cool part about cruising is that everything is one space, and Royal, we're very loyal to Royal because it's clean, it has good food, it has good quality people on board, and so it's a lot more fun, and we hope that you can join us. That's all you got to do. Just there it is.
Yeah, I give you the link. And we do, somebody just asked, we take out of Fort Lauderdale. So
Yeah.
we'll fly into Fort Lauderdale. We're gonna talk to, find maybe even a hotel that will put us up, and maybe we can all get together ahead of time before we take the
The
cruise
day
the next
before.
day. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that you can also, I mean, I ended up on the marketers cruise like a week before we left. Because somebody couldn't make it, and somebody was like, oh my God, I know Erin wanted, and she was on a waiting list. So she called me. I immediately got on, and I was booked. I got to be with Catherine, who will be on our cruise with us. And she was my roommate, and we had so much fun together. And so the beautiful thing is I made so many more relationships from that. And now we've JV partnered on a lot of things just in this last month and a half. So that's the other beautiful thing. You really get to be with other people that are loving what we're doing, and you get to have, so you can see here, and we got Tony here as well, the things you're going to get. You can go through this, you can see some photos from the cruise and what it's going to feel like and be like when we are actually doing this with you. And I put in here every little day where we're at, what's going to, what you have opportunities to go to and see in these beautiful places. And that was one thing that I loved. This was only my second cruise I ever took. The other one I did, I spoke for the Women of Global Change, and it was in Europe. And I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know that on the days we were in port that we were able to go off the ship. So the first day I missed out in Nice, France, I missed out. But
Oh no.
it's still fun to hang out because Orly probably didn't leave the boat at all when we went on this marketers cruise, because she's been to these
I
little.
did not leave the boat. I left the boat, I think, at Curacao for like 15 minutes. I went to buy a few gadgets and I came back on board. You don't need to get off the ship, but at Coco Cay, this will be our first, this is the first stop for the ship, and we are doing a conference. So it's conference day. Coco Cay is just a drinking island that is owned by Royal Caribbean. So if you're drinking and a person and you want to get off the ship and just go hang out at a pool and drink, that's your prerogative. But we're handling our first day of the conference on the first day. So meaning that's the Coco Cay event. And then the next day is also conference day. And then we come back at the last day of the ship, which is Saturday before we get back to Fort Lauderdale. That's also a conference day. So there are 3 conference days. You'll still get a chance to experience the ship, the shows, the all the amenities, and still have fun and do what you need to do for your business. Getting off that ship is going to be a sad day for us because we're going to miss you, but at the same time, you will have everything you need to be successful.
And there's also opportunities for those who want to do a speaker sponsor. If you want to help sell this cruise and make some money and help us at the same time, you can do that. And you can get your cabin, you can get some speaking time, right? So if that's where you're at in your speaking journey, we are excited to have you. We would love to have you be able to give a few minutes of your talk and really get out there and get people to want to buy your stuff. So if that's something you want to do, we have that opportunity too. So you can book that over here, and we can jump into that as well. So this will be the greatest thing, because it's getting everything that we just talked about that you need in order to be a speaker and to get paid and position to profit. And so if you're not profiting the way that you want to, this is the way to do so. And I feel like this is really inexpensive. I'm looking at some of the conferences that I went to last year. I paid $5,000 to go to a conference, right? And you're not even having to do that. And especially if you're splitting a room with somebody, then it takes down your price point, right? So getting to know these things really is helpful, but it's also for you to be able to go out there, turn around off that ship and start making money, right? So
Yep.
me stop sharing this, I guess. Hold
Start
on.
or continue in a bigger way. That's all.
Yeah, I
Because
love
if
that.
you are making money. So I guess we're going to open it up because a lot of people,
Yep.
if you have to jump off, we want to respect your time. Thank you so much for being here. And if you want to stick around for asking us any questions for Erin or myself, please just stick around and unmute yourself. Raise your digital hand so we can see that you have a question, and we'll stay as long as somebody here wants to ask us anything.
Yeah. About anything that we've talked about.
Do you have a referral program, Erin?
Yeah.
And okay.
Yes, we do.
Will you send me the okay, I'll email you, and I have to jump to another call, but I would love to. What are the dates? Are the dates on there? It's
22nd to the 29th of September.
September. Okay, got it.
Save the dates, guys, so that at least if you have anything else, you won't take it, you know,
Yeah.
just kidding.
Thank you.
Thanks,
You're
Janice.
welcome. Thanks, Janice.
Any other
Yes.
questions?
Questions, comments, observations, we'll take those too,
Mm-hmm. We'll take feedback.
We'll take feedback, exactly. I crave feedback.
I know, me too.
It's
Any
so
questions?
cool because I met Tony and I spent some times on the Marketers Cruise as well. And then Flo and I met on the Marketers Cruise. I mean, literally, it's amazing the relationships and the friendships you either deepen or create when you're in an environment that supports our industry.
Yeah.
Totally.
I know I'd never met Tony in person. We had chatted over the phone a couple times, but like that was the fun thing for me, is meeting the people that I've done business with for years, but meeting belly to belly, like, because
Yeah.
especially since post-COVID, there were so many people I did stuff online with, and people from all over the world. We had people flying in from Norway and the UK and Australia. So like we got to really get to see people, and I love that because it's like everyone coming together and then going on an international cruise, which is fun.
Mm-hmm. I was afraid to talk to Tony for a long time. Like, I was like, and it's funny because she works with me right now, but it's because, to me, she's a superstar, right? And so I go gaga in front of superstars. I just put them, I idolize like Erin Loman Jack. Oh my God, you can't say her name without saying the whole thing. Erin Loman Jack. And so I met her in person finally, and I'm like, oh my God, Erin Loman Jack.
Hi,
Oh
Flo.
Lord, I tell you. Okay, Flo.
So good to see you, love. Go off
You're
mute, baby.
muted.
You're
You're
unmuted.
muted. Okay, where's my thing?
You owe me, Erin.
I owe you for what?
Your book. You promised to send it to me.
Oh, well, let me get your
Oh,
address.
I'm
I
still
think
about
waiting.
feedback.
No, it's good. No, I have one right here. So look, I'll sign it right
There
now.
you go. Sign
Not
it
signed.
right now for Flo. There you go.
So Flo,
Okay.
put it in the chat for me, and I'll write it down. I'll send
Privately,
Okay.
yeah, privately we don't.
Okay, but that's not my
Yeah.
question. I went to the website, and when I click on the button that says check availability and rates, it doesn't go anywhere.
Doesn't go anywhere. Okay.
So you know what? There is a
And
phone
you didn't give
number.
us a phone number.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
is a phone number and a group number that you need to call, and we're going to give you that, and you can ask them for the availability immediately. We have 50 cabins reserved for everyone, and they're going to go fast because already a few of them have been sold. So you want to call them and give them their group number so that they can make sure you are a part of our group, because we have a special rate.
Yeah, if you click the in the chat, I just put the link that goes straight to checkout. You do that, the 297, and then we're gonna email you the number and all the things that you need to do for the next steps.
Right.
Oh, you're gonna email the
Yeah.
phone number and the group
Yes.
number?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't want to put it on the website because then everyone just had, you know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah, because I already got those dates from Erin, so I've already blocked off that week.
Good girl.
I just need to get
very
cracking,
good.
get going.
Awesome.
Yeah.
well, don't forget to put it in the chat because I'm signing your book right now, Flo.
All right.
All right. Anyone else? Questions, comments, observations?
Tony, do you got anything since you're here?
Tony, you have anything?
Gotta go off mute. I want to invite everybody to be there. Did you want me to put, I've got the group number and phone number on the chat. Do you want me to
Yes,
add
you
it
can
there?
put it. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. You
Yeah,
can
I
put it
went and
for
looked
us.
for it just
Make
for
it
you
easy
guys.
for everyone. There you go.
Okay.
There you go. Phone number, and be sure to give our group number. It's
So
the
this
best
is
way
going to
to
be
start.
exciting, guys. And I tell you what, I mean, I love Orly's part of the picture is how you actually make it work. Erin is all of the ingredients to this wonderful cake. And then I get to be there and watch you guys turn into stars, which is my end of it, because that's what I like to do when I cast people and find people the right place to be. So visibility, you know, you need that. And training, yes, you need that. Trust me, I've had so many people come up to me and say, "Oh, you can put me on a stage. I've been speaking all my life." And I'm like, "No, ain't gonna do it. Ain't gonna do it. I want to see you practice." And guess what, guys? Practice, practice, practice. You're gonna be in front of a camera how many times, Orly?
The whole time.
The
That's the
whole
thing, the
time.
whole time. We're going to
So
capture you in different modalities so that we can do that sizzle reel for you. That's the gold, the gold. The gold is that you will be on stage with different outfits a few times, quite a few times. You're going to be speaking to your peers, giving each other feedback, because the people who are there are actually audience members you never know and you've ever met. And what they think is more important than what we think, to tell you the truth. We have the techniques because we are professional speakers all over the world, but we like feedback too. Don't think that we've never stopped growing. I like feedback still. I want people to tell me, "Oh, you didn't do that right. Oh, you told me you're going to give us 3 secrets. You only give us 2. Do you guys get it? Because we get
Mail me the
excited.
book.
Yeah, I promise you to send me my book, right? But no, we get excited on stage. You know what it feels like to be on stage. It's the adrenaline. And sometimes we got to stay focused and we forget. It's just the way it is. So we're human. Everybody's human.
Orly and Erin, I hear you've got an acting coach coming to teach them how to do impromptu.
Really? I can't.
Yeah, we got to loosen up those pipes, guys.
We're gonna have
whose
fun.
line is it anyway?
Whose line is it anyway? We're gonna have fun. Oh my God, this is so much fun. I can't wait. This is gonna be great.
Yes. I mean, I love that stuff. My husband and I watch the old ones. We still
Oh,
just,
I love the old ones.
yes. So that's always fun. And it teaches you to stop showing up. I got to show up like my speaker. This is my speaker face. This is my speak. It's like, no, we're just be authentically you. You can see we're just authentically ourselves at all times.
At all times.
And that sells.
And I tell people I have no filter between my brain and my mouth, right? So that's why and it's true though. It's actually true. Oh Lord.
All right.
Any questions, comments, observations before we let you guys go? Because it seems like you guys just want to hang out with us. And we love talking to you. But at the end of the day, we want to see if there's anything we can answer for you. Or if you have a comment or a suggestion or anything for us, we love to hear it. So we
Don't forget to save the chat, everyone. You got some great stuff. Save the chat,
everyone, so that you can have the information. You can help us share it. If you can't make it, we understand life happens, but if you help us share it, we would really appreciate it as well. So please let people know who are thinking about it.
So to answer a couple of questions, you guys, the ship is leaving from Fort Lauderdale. It's the Western Caribbean 7-day, because there's a bunch of different things, and you look for the date, September 22nd, I believe, Orly.
Yeah, so 22nd to the 29th. Dorothy said, I love Dorothy. Like, you guys don't know, but she has an amazing, amazing organization for women. And happy Women's Day, Dorothy. Like, this is totally up your alley. She said she's shitless to get on this opportunity.
Shitless.
Dorothy, we're gonna hold you up. We're gonna hug you because I need to meet you in person anyway. So we're gonna hold you up. We're gonna hug you. We're gonna support you. You won't feel alone. I promise you that. We were together, all of us, on a ship of 450 people. This one is gonna be just 100 of our group, but 450, and we never felt alone. And that's the cool part about it. It's just so beautiful. The camaraderie, the friendships, the learning, everything that comes with this is really life transforming for even us as coaches. Like, we are here to lead you, but believe it, we at the end, when we see your transformation, all of you, oh my God, we cry at the last day. That's how it's so moving that we see you evolve into a whole new level. And we love that. We just love that.
So
Well,
guys,
yeah.
this is also ready for B-roll heaven. So how many of you know what a B-roll is? Because you're going to have Hey, Dorothy, good job.
Right.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot of B-roll for your future. Yeah.
Exactly, that you can use and repurpose and reuse. And we're going to show you how to use your own phone as a camera that converts. I mean, Bert's very good at teaching that. So you guys, you have no idea. That $20,000 that she was showing you is like half of what we really, I mean, it doesn't even represent what we're going to be giving you. And this does not represent it.
And
So we
Dorothy, if you're that afraid, I can NLP that away. It's all good.
Oh, there you go.
I can remove that fear. It's all good.
We can definitely do that. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. I put make sure you save the chat. You have all the links. You have the link to the free TEDx Bible ebook and the all the resources. You have the phone number and the group number. You have the checkout page. Just, you know, I feel like this isn't a risk when you know that, I mean, we already said Orly guarantees that you make 150,000 a year, right? Like, so there's no risk to just coming and doing this. And especially for those that's in here that said they don't have a speaker sheet or they don't have a sizzle reel, like that's important. And so you need these things to stand out and to actually make money speaking. So why not come and get the things you need to speak and get paid? So we're excited to have you guys. It's going to be so much fun. Thank you guys for being here and giving us your time. We enjoyed it.
Happy Women's Day. Have a good one. God bless everyone. Take care.
Yeah.